Thanks to those joining me live and to those that be joining me on Archive DStyleBoxing. Here, we're listening on Archive right now. Make sure you throw a jab at the like button. Make sure it turns, blue, or I know like they've modified it now where it turns black, like on some newer software versions on smartphones, etc. But make sure you hit the like button. And if you don't, hit the dislike. Like, oh, I don't like Canelo. Dislike, whatever it is, right? And shout out to everybody right now. No Pop Oxiano says, salute HCP, he says. Sonteo, HCP, he says. Chicano Prophet, HCP, he says. Okay, Fistiana, how are you doing? And Brusco, shout out to you as well. Let me lay it out for you dudes right now, man. Let me just lay it all out for you right now. Let's lay it all out for you in this shit. We're living in a time right now where there's a lot of haterade when it comes to Saul Canelo Alvarez. Like a lot of it. All right? A whole lot of it. I mean, I got my boy Chicano over there being real respectful, yet he gets ignored because they know he's the head of the Canelo cartel. I see how it is. These are things that I take notice of. He's not calling anybody names. He just supports Canelo. That's all he does. Right? But check it out. I'm going to go over a couple things with you guys. All right? Just a little bit. Let me first start out by saying the following. Have I criticized Canelo in the past? Has this talk, criticized Canelo? Yes, I criticize all fighters. Surprise. Of course I've criticized them when it was appropriate to criticize him. I criticized him when he fought Khan. I criticized him, for the Liam Smith fight. I criticized him for the Rocky Fielding fight. I'm on record criticizing him for those things. So why am I even saying that? The reason I'm saying that is because I am far, far from a Canelo fanboy. I can just speak objectively and lay it all out for you. All right. First of all, let's stop pretending like there isn't, dudes out there that's just going to hate on Canelo no matter what he does. Okay? Can we just stop pretending that there isn't dudes out there that just hate on the guy just because they hate him because they ain't him? Uh-huh. They hate him because they ain't him. Right? They hate him because they ain't him. Look. Not to skip all over the place. So let me kind of do it this way for you guys, okay? First, myself. If Canelo does something that warrants criticism, of course I will speak about it. But this fight doesn't warrant criticism. Out of your minds right now? Are you out of your mind? Yeah, you really have to be trying hard at this point. There's people that they can't even admit that he has boxing skills. So some dudes out here. I mean, it's ridiculous. All right? There's people calling him a complete fraud. There's people saying he's a piece of shit. These are things I've heard people say. All right? I mean, yeah, just a bit over the top there, isn't it? A little bit. You don't think that's a little over the top? There's insinuations that he's only where he's at because of the way he looks. Canelo's not where he's at because of how he looks. He's where he's at because he could fucking thump. He could fight. Do you understand? That's why he's there. That's why Canelo's where he's at. Now, when I say pound for pound, I don't have quote unquote disqualifications for pound. Okay. I just don't. Okay. Having disqualifications for shit is the reason James Toney's not in the Hall of Fame right now. Right? Because we let people insert their opinions into shit and they get to be biased and not get somebody in when they rightfully deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Tony, you tested positive for steroids. Yeah, we're not going to get him in. Yeah. Canelo failed, a drug test one time. Yeah. Disqualified for life. Yeah. I don't care if he's obviously easily top 3 most skilled boxer in the whole fucking planet. Nah, I'm going to just keep him out of it. Yeah. That's my rules. Like, okay, cool. You can do what you want, but that's not what pound for pound means at all, actually. Like, there's no like rule that says you got to disqualify people for this reason or that reason. Pound for pound just means like, the most talented boxer in the fucking world, regardless of weight class. That's all it fucking means. People have switched it and turned it into some other shit. And as of right now, I got to say Saul Canelo Alvarez is the best pound for pound boxer in the world. At age 30 right now, he's still going to improve for the next 4 or 5 years. He's still going to get better. He's only getting better. He's only getting better. This isn't the same kid that boxed Floyd Mayweather when he was like 21 years old. It's not the same kid. It's a full grown ass man now with experience, with knowledge of the game. He's a student of the game. He studies, defensive wizards like Loche. Okay, people think, it's Mayweather. No. Mayweather's part of it, but this guy studies the game. That's what he is. He's always in the gym. Like always. You always see him in the gym. He doesn't balloon. He doesn't like get fat in between training camps. You don't see him with a soda bottle in his hand. Okay. You don't see him getting caught doing drugs. I mean, I'm not with him 24/7. Right. But it's obvious that he's a very disciplined fighter. All right. That is obvious. He's also a fighter that isn't polarizing. He doesn't do or say very controversial or polarizing things. He keeps it very simple. Let me tell you something right now. If you're still hanging on to stories of the past when it comes to Canelo, if you're still holding on and hanging on to shit from years ago, I don't even know what to tell you. He's been in the microscope and in the spotlight since he was on the undercard of the Mosley Mayweather fight. He's been in the spotlight since then. And in Mexico, he's been in the spotlight even longer than that. This kid has made hundreds of millions of dollars and he's still hungry. He's still going after title lists. He's still going after champions. There's guys that get one payday and they fall off the fucking rails. He's been a millionaire. This kid was already a millionaire before he was on the undercard of Mayweather fights. He was already a millionaire. He had already made over $1 million in purses before he was even on those undercards. I've been following Saul Canelo Alvarez since he was fucking boxing on Azteca and Televisa before any of you motherfuckers on here knew about him. All right? And when I saw him then, I knew this kid was going to be something. I knew I saw a future world champion like that. I didn't think he'd be this good. I'll admit that. But he has definitely surpassed expectations. Look how many YouTubers and established personalities, right, that talk boxing had no belief in Canelo and have over the years been, proven otherwise. You know, they've turned around and say, you know what? I got to start giving this kid his credit. Dwyer would pick against Canelo all the time. Break it down. Oh, this time he's going to fall to this guy. Oh, this time he's not going to do this. Or I just don't see how Canelo, when he was at 154, he was saying he doesn't see how Canelo could be successful at 160, right? But what happens? He came around. At some point, the empirical data needs to hit you, and you need to, at the very least, right, just admit that this guy is that good. He is that dude. At some point, you just got to admit that. I'm not saying you have to agree with me that he's number one pound for pound. Somebody has Crawford there. Like, I'm not going to argue with you, right? Crawford's an extremely talented fighter. You can have him there. But this idea that having Canelo number one is like outrageous is like, there's nothing outrageous about it at all, actually. Tony Harrison tweeted out, Canelo's got the best defense in boxing today. And we got a bunch of armchair fans questioning him, okay, and almost begging him to take it back. You think he's just going to tweet that out? And you think you know more than him? He's a fucking professional boxer. He's got one win, one loss against Jermell Charlo. I think he knows what he's watching. I think I can trust his fucking eye. Yeah, coaches giving this guy credit, and it never fails. You got people that are campaigning, just wanting, like, no, how can you say that? How can you say that? Don't say that. Like, why not? Why try so hard to campaign against him when they've already they said what they said because that's how they feel, right? A lot of scribes at first did not believe in Canelo. Had a lot of the same types of criticisms I had, but at some point, you gotta let it go. At some point, like fighting Matthew Haddon for the title is like old news and very irrelevant now. Lupe Pintor had all these criticisms for Canelo, right? Like 9 years ago. Guess what he's recently said? Recently said, look, I've looked at him. He's the real deal. You think Lupe Pintor is just going to fucking lie? No, Lupe, don't say that. He's a fraud. No, don't say that. Oh, he's only saying it because he's Mexican. When a Mexican legend criticizes Canelo, let's do videos nonstop and quote the Mexican legends to use it against Canelo because it feeds the campaigning we're doing to prove that this guy's a fraud. But when they say otherwise, no, well, they're only saying it because they're Mexican. Right? No. Maybe Lupe Pintor is just a fighter and he watches Canelo fight and he understands this motherfucker's a good fighter. Maybe it's just that. Has that not occurred to you? Even Marquez has, had a lot of criticisms. And by the way, valid ones about Canelo. But even he said, you know what? I got to give him his credit. Now, I don't know if Marquez still has Crawford number one pound for pound over Canelo, but he had Canelo number two, though. It's not like, it was like out of the realm of possibility, right? And then we got Coach Cunningham saying, man, this guy, I'm going to give him all the credit. Well, what happens? People got to respond to him and be like, how can you possibly say that? Canelo's a fraud. He's not that good, coach. Like who are you people? Like, why are you trying so hard to go out of your way to not allow people to believe their lying eyes? Like people watch Canelo fight. They know he's good, dude. Like, you really got to be trying extremely hard to not acknowledge that he's fucking good. Right? Pro Counter Boxing is laughing. I don't know about what, but I would love to hear any merits you have to say. Do you know more than Tony Harrison? You know more than him? Well, I'd love to know what you're laughing about. I would love to hear it. I don't mind if it's agreement, that's cool. But if it's disagreement, I don't mind it at all. All right. When Errol Spence is asked who's the best pound for pound, and Errol Spence says Canelo is the best pound for pound, are we just going to discredit that? Does Errol Spence not know what he's looking at? Do you know more than Errol Spence's eye? You have a better eye for boxing than Errol Spence? We're reaching an age where these fans have audacity. Like they think they know more than the trainers and the fighters. They think they know more. They think they know more. Well, I love to hear, like, what you're seeing. Excellent. Andrew Charles, how's it going? Sonteo Media. No Paul. Cristiano, I'm not a fan of Canelo, but nobody beats him right now. I have to be honest about that. Well, there you go. It's kind of private. A lot of channel losing credibility out there. It's a shame. No Paul says all-time great status. NYY Mexican. How's it going, man? It's a salute. A Stone 8, how's it going? Fundamental, no extra fireworks, but effective in winning. That punching power is fireworks, and he does have certain attributes. Look, he's got a good chin. He can take a punch. And I'm going to tell you guys a little bit on what I'm seeing about Canelo right now. Lawrence Williams, how's it going? Mr. Doc, how are you, man? Joe's Cartoon World. I don't know when are you going to do another video, bro? But he says, another boring fight. Not hating, just tired of Canelo's fight. Let me pick who I fight. And when I fight, we need to see when he fights true competitor, not the champ, even Mexican eyes. Well, I mean, hey, that's my primo, by the way, but it's all good, bro. All right, we'll have to have a discussion because I think you're a little, confused here. First of all fighters, quote unquote, pick like their opponent, right? Like this idea that only Canelo's doing it is kind of ridiculous, right? They've always sat down, negotiated fights, and made fights happen since the days of forever, since prize fighting started, right? Now, if you want a league where everybody just makes each other fight each other, well, that's what Callum Smith did. He fought in a tournament. He won a tournament. He became the ring champion, and that's who Canelo fought. That's who he fought. Rob Boxing, salute, bro. Just came to hit that like on Tibet. Gotcha. Haplotype, how's it going? Let me break it down for you guys right now. Let me break it down for you. Let's break it down right now. In order to tell me that Canelo isn't doing shit, then you need to show me somebody that's doing more. That's the way it works in life. All right? So show me that he's an outlier. Show me that he's not even like whatever. Like just show me. Can you provide me with somebody other than Manny Pacquiao, who by default's been around for a long, long time? Okay. Can you provide me somebody else other than Manny Pacquiao that has a better resume than Canelo right now? Can anybody give me that name, please? Because every time I ask that, it's crickets. Every time I ask that question, I can never get an answer. Ever. I never get the answer. Canelo said he's going to collect all the belts at 168 pounds. He wants to become undisputed champion at 168 pounds. Canelo tried to make a fight with Caleb Plant out of Nashville. Caleb Plant turned him down not once but twice. Lo negó dos veces. A ver si lo nega tres veces. Is he going to deny him a third time? Like Judas? Is that what he's going to do? Kevin the Carrot, it doesn't matter. All you guys, what's up? Volts. Can somebody please explain to me, one, can you give me a name with someone with a better resume right now? Look at Gennady Golovkin just fought. Who the fuck is that dude that he just fought? Who is that guy? I swear to God, he looked like my plumber. I swear to God. The dude I hired to unclog a toilet a couple weeks ago. He kind of looked familiar. Times are tough. All right? Plumbers have to get in the ring with Gennady Golovkin, make some extra money. All right? Who was that guy? No one knew who the fuck that dude was. Unless you follow boxing 24/7, 7 days a week, nonstop. Like, unless you do that, which nobody really has time to do, you don't know who the fuck this dude is. We all have better things to do than know who Gennady Golovkin's opponent is. Now, we just got better shit to do. Who is that guy? Caleb Plant is fighting Caleb Truax. And I don't give a fuck if I'm not pronouncing that correctly either. I don't give a shit. No, but that's not how you pronounce it. I don't give a fuck. How about that? Caleb Truax? This dude, he hasn't been good in 10 years. Loses every time he steps up. That's who you're fighting? Caleb Truax. Now let me ask you this. If Canelo announced that he was going to fight Caleb Truax, be honest, what reaction would there be on the internet? And a lot of these channels that just like to make videos about Canelo all day. What would your reaction be? Oh, here we go again, Canelo. Like, you can't really say there we go again because Canelo doesn't fight trash dudes that haven't been good in 10 fucking years. Okay, and spare me, but he fought an old Shane Mosley. Canelo was 21 or 19 or some shit. He was like 20 when he fought Mosley. Spare me. In the last 5 years, he hasn't fought guys like that. Let's go on to Raider LA Boxing. It says, what up? Why is nobody saying for Spence, Triple G, Crawford, Charlos to move up? But they want Canelo to move up and fight Better Biev. He's got to fight Better Biev now. Do it. Like, come on. He's already moved up from 154. Roy Jones fought. He fought John Ruiz, right? Nobody said, hey, don't be a coward and fight Lennox Lewis. Like, nobody said that. Everybody just acknowledged that it was amazing that he moved up and he beat John Ruiz, right? That's probably one of the most impressive jump ups in history, by the way. But Canelo moved up. He knocked out Kovalev, and then the excuses started, right? No, it's because Kovalev was weight trained. He was weight trained, even though it was his weight class. Okay? They said he was weight trained, even though it was his weight class. And then somehow on the internet, like rumors were spread out that there was a rehydration clause. But on Leave It in the Ring, his own coach, the coach of Kovalev, all right, Buddy McGirt came out and he said, when asked, he literally said, word for word, he said, we would not have taken the fight if there was a rehydration clause. He also said Kovalev was following the game plan just as we had it. And some of you out there had Kovalev winning that fight up until the knockout. Right? It wasn't until after the knockout that you had an issue with it. Caleb Plant is fighting Caleb Truax, a guy who lost to Jermaine Taylor. Yes, when Jermaine Taylor was like still around after he lost his belts. Okay, he lost to him like in the late 2000s. This is who this guy's fighting. This is embarrassing. I'm sorry. I would have criticized Canelo if he fought Caleb Truax. I would have. All right? But he's not. Plant is. Plant wants a year's notice and a and a retirement package to fight fucking Canelo. Right? Somebody tell Caleb Plant that Canelo's looking for him. Somebody tell him that. He wants all this thing. He wants this like he thinks like the boxing world and Canelo's schedule revolves all around him. Right? He's like, no, Canelo, you got to fight me when I'm ready. Who the fuck is Caleb Plant to tell everybody that you got to do it when I'm ready? Like, what is this? What do you mean when I'm ready? Fucking shitting me. I'm going to fight Caleb Truax in, what is it, February? Like, goddamn, dude. If he's offered to fight for May, that's when Canelo fights, he's going to say no. He's going to say, I just had a training camp, to prepare and have a fight against Caleb Truax, and Canelo wants me to fight in May. Okay, he wants to fight me too soon. Get the fuck out of here. Okay? The fucking fighters used to fight multiple times a month. Chavez fought every fucking 6 months. Get the fuck out of here. What a convenient date, by the way. Why didn't you do the date like right now? Are you gonna hype up the fight with Truax? What the fuck is this? Ain't nobody anticipating that fight. We were like, get the fuck out of here. Benavidez. I like Benavidez. I do. And like I've said, he could redeem himself. He could come back. I think it's good for boxing. It's exciting to watch. But he lost he didn't make weight. Look, it's bullshit that they're giving Canelo Benavidez' belt. Like, Benavidez lost the belt at the weight, guys. Do you not understand? Isn't it better that he had to fight another champion in Callum Smith in order to win it rather than fighting Yildirim? Shouldn't you be instead saying that? Isn't that like what are you guys doing? It's getting ridiculous at this point, honestly. Benavidez, speaking of him, and Plant. For like 2.5 years now, everybody's talking about Crawford Spence. Oh, it can't happen because they're on different side of the streets. These guys are literally in the same side of the street. They have videos out there of them beefing with one another in gyms, and Benavidez was on Leave It in the Ring and other outlets, right? Saying he wants to put Plant in a hospital, and Plant saying all types of shit, calling him a coke kid and a loser, and that he got no skills, and he's going to put hands on him when they get in the ring, and all this shit they're saying. Why can't they fight each other? Why are they all just, panhandling, right? Waiting on Canelo to hand him some money. And with conditions, too. That's the other funny part. Billy Joe Saunders. Billy Joe could have fought Canelo. Billy Joe Saunders could have fought Canelo. He still can. He just fought Martin Murray. Could you just imagine? Like, I'm not even bullshitting, guys. Just think about it for a second, right? Could you imagine if Canelo had just finished fighting Martin Murray? Now, I'm not saying nobody criticized, Billy Joe Saunders for that. He deserves criticism, right? But just imagine the level of criticisms and non-stop streams about Canelo and how he's a coward and he's picking an old man. Just imagine. Can you just imagine? Murray hasn't been relevant since like Martinez was middleweight champion of the world. When Stern was like still around, like it's unbelievable that these guys could fight these old motherfuckers, and it's like we just keep it moving. But Canelo fights Callum Smith, the reigning WBA, okay, the super champion, 168 pounds, the ring champion for the vacant WBC champion. And people are acting like he just did something horrible. What's so horrible about what he did? He literally just finished litigation with the Zone and just put that fight together last minute after fucking Plant ducked. That's what he did. He ducked. Now you could say, well, he had good reasons to duck. He needed more time. He needed more time. Like a virgin in high school. I need more time. I need more time. Get the fuck out of here. He says he wants to unify. He's got to beat somebody, right? So he got 2 straps now. Billy Joe Saunders got 1 strap. Plant has the other strap. The pressure should be on them, in all honesty. And then we have, a shout out to everybody, by the way. I'm reading the comments, but just cooking here. Gary Russell and Leo is even worse. They were champions in the division at the same time for 5 years. Absolutely. Canelo should go for undisputed since Joe Lopez 40 ounce. He absolutely should. Plant needs a year's notice and like a retirement package. I mean, this guy, honestly, what does this guy want? This guy's the epitome of, like, people are saying Canelo's a diva. Like, Canelo's a quote-unquote diva. It's for, like, little shit. You know what I mean? Like, honestly. But this, Plant's acting like a fucking spoiled-ass brat, if you ask me. He's not acting like a fighter. Could you imagine if, like, Sergio Martinez had this attitude? Pavlik got injured. Hey, man, 4-week notice. You want to jump in there? You can fight on HBO against Paul Williams. Williams was hot at the time, okay? He was undefeated. He wasn't undefeated. He had a loss to Quintana, but still, he was hot at the time, right? Could you imagine he said, no, I need more time. I need more time to prepare. Really? Martinez would have been stuck still. He would have still been fighting in Spain for $10,000 a pop. He would have never done anything. Could you imagine if Andy Ruiz had the same attitude? Hey, Eddie, I want to fight, but I need a week's notice. I need like a 4 or 5 month notice. And Andy, we need to, like we're ready to do it now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, are you ready to go? Nah. He would never become world champion. Ever. You got to be ready. You got to be ready when the time comes. Canelo stayed ready. Canelo didn't know when the litigation was going to end with the Zone. He didn't know. Well, finally, when it all got settled, boom, he was ready to make a fight. Callum Smith was a last-second put-together fight. And it's still better than anybody Crawford's fought at 147 pounds. That's the truth, and you could take that to the bank. You could take that to the bank. Right? This is the guy that won the World Series, tournament, the ring champion, WBA Super, all that stuff. That's Callum Smith. This was a last-second put-together fight, and look at what he gave us. And he's still got people running around criticizing. Still doing it. And what's the excuse for Plant and Benavidez not fighting each other? Both holding belts and never unifying. What excuse do they have? They're both PBC fighters. There's zero excuses. Zero. Now everybody wants to get on Canelo's case. Oh, Canelo, he's gonna fight Golovkin. Look, man. Like, here's the reality. I know, and a lot of you guys know, that Canelo will beat the shit out of Golovkin in the third fight. I know that. That's why I agree with Canelo. Canelo doesn't want the fight, guys. You guys know that, right? He doesn't want to give Golovkin another payday. He thinks he's already done with him. He already gave him 24 rounds. He wants to move on. He wants to unify 168. The zone is pushing for it. And, you know, Gennady Golovkin fans are pushing for it. You know, like a lot of members in the media are pushing for it. All right. They keep saying, oh, but he was robbed. He deserves another shot. Right. So if he doesn't fight him, you're going to have, maybe not you, but you're going to have a segment of fans saying he's ducking Golovkin. All right. Now, two things. One, Canelo's already moved up from 154 all the way he's moved up from, you know, early in his career, before he won titles, he was at 147. But as far as where he won titles, 154, 160, you know what I mean? You know, he doesn't do the catchweights anymore, by the way, right? As he grew into 160, he stopped. And then, you know, 168, 175, 168, he's already moved up. Is Golovkin ever going to move up? Doesn't he have to? He can't move up one time? Golovkin's moved up 4 weight class. I mean, Canelo's moved up 4. Can Golovkin do one at least? Can Golovkin beat somebody? If Golovkin moves up and beats Billy Joe Saunders or Caleb Plant and he has a belt, Canelo wants to unify the belts and you can make it happen. But can he do something other than fight these fucking nobodies he's been fighting? You're really going to reward Golovkin with a Canelo fight after this? The guy he just fought? Are you shitting me right now? Golovkin will be a good opponent for Billy Joe Saunders or for Plant. Okay, he could get a belt that way. Canelo can't fight them both on the same night. So fight one of those guys. And if you win a strap, he's got to fight you if he wants to become undisputed. What's so complicated about that? Same thing with Charlo. All right? You're a big middleweight anyway. Okay, you could go to 168, beat one of these guys, and then you become a champion, and Canelo's got to fight you to unify. Same thing with, you know, Andre says he's going to move up and fight Billy Joe Saunders, right? Okay, then get it done. Andre has never unified shit, but he wants to lecture Canelo about, is he going to keep his word about unifying and becoming undisputed? You never done that shit yourself. What the fuck are you talking about? Moving on. A Stone. Triple G needs to fight another dude. He needs to fight somebody with a pulse. Yeah, just says, you know, becomes undisputed. Floyd never did it. Man, it doesn't matter. Says Triple G only want a Canelo payday. Well, that's exactly what he wants. And here's the deal. Like, if he takes the fight, half of the fans are going to say, yes. The other half, oh, man, look, he's ducking this guy and that guy for fighting Golovkin. But Spence could fight Danny Garcia in between trying to unify with Crawford, and that's cool. You know what I mean? Danny Garcia, you know, he hasn't been looking the same, especially since he moved up from 140. Okay? By the way, shows you, look how difficult it is to look good as you move up, right? Danny wasn't the same after he moved up to 147, right? Danny was just beating dudes like Golovkin does, and when he stepped up against Sturman and Porter, they were close, but he lost, okay? And he got to fight Spence. You know what I mean? Like, well, what's the big deal? He fights Gennady Golovkin in between on his road to becoming undisputed. Well, I don't see the big deal about that. You know what I mean? But hey, people are going to say what they want to say. You know what I mean? It's whatever makes Canelo, whatever, you know, argument I can make to go against Canelo, that's what I'm going to do. Raider says Caleb Plant wants a year notice, pension plan, a 401k portfolio with diversified mutual funds, full 100% medical benefits with no copayment, a Roth IRA, max yearly non-tax, properties in LA. You know? But the year notice is the big one. I never heard people make so many excuses for a fighter when he didn't take a fight. like they have with Caleb Plant. And to make matters worse, they accuse the guy who offered the fight and try to make the fight. They accuse him of ducking. They don't accuse the other guy of ducking, the one that ducked the fight. Not him, you know? Come on now. If you're ready, if you stay ready, you'll be ready. But by the way, 3 months is more than enough, okay? This whole like, oh, it's not enough time is the biggest load of crap I've heard. What a bunch of load of crap. No, he needs more time. Like get the fuck out of here. All right? Look, I get, talking about Canelo puts these fighters, it gives them more attention. You know what I mean? It's like you never hear Canelo talking about all these fighters after they fight, but they all talk about Canelo though. You know what I mean? They all claim he's ducking them, right? Charlo claims Canelo's ducking him. Now, from my understanding, his own brother said he was offered $15 million to fight him, right? And let's say the counter to that is, no, well, they had some stipulations or whatever that they didn't like. Oh, he never sent the contract. No, he made an offer. He made an offer to him. He didn't accept the offer. If the issue was, well, he didn't send me a contract. If that was the issue, you would have came out and said something, right? But now we live in an era where a fighter being quiet and saying nothing makes all the sense in the world when it's your favorite fighter, right? But when they don't say anything and it's not a fighter you like, then it's a negative. It's just what we do now. You know what I mean? We all know his brother coming out saying that wasn't part of the plan. He aired him out. Okay? That's what he did. How about this, Walter Boyd? Cytokane. How about that? How about that? How about therapeutic use exemption for Floyd, but not for Manny before the Manny fight? How about that? Do we want to keep playing these games? Because anybody could do that. I could do that all day. Right? How about IV after the weigh-in to help you out? You know what I mean? How about that? But I digress. Look. Here's what I like about Canelo and where he's evolved as a fighter, man. There are multiple firewalls in his defense. And here's what I mean by that. One, he's got really good reflexes, right? So he's able to make you completely miss a lot of shots. Caleb Smith was throwing textbook shots at him. And I keep hearing criticism, oh, Caleb, he wasn't using his height. He wasn't using his jab. Yes, he was. Okay? He didn't have a stationary target in front of him. Canelo will give you the appearance of being stationary. But at the last second, he'll move out of your shots and put himself in position to punish you. Okay? He was throwing really nice textbook jabs at him, right hands, hooks. Okay? But he was making him miss a lot. Canelo also duck low a little bit, like bend at the waist, and kind of open up his elbows like the guard and make it appear like he's open to an uppercut. And then he would just like bend back, right? And make Callum Smith miss that uppercut over and over again. Like given the appearance that he's open when he is not. Because that target's not going to be there by the time you throw your punch and it arrives at that destination. He's not going to be there. So he forced Caleb Smith to throw multiple punches, like maybe throw 6 to maybe land 1 or 2. Well, that will exert a lot of energy, and it's not a very efficient way to fight, right? Especially not at 168 pounds, where guys are not used to throwing as many punches, right? But you do exhaust more energy when you completely miss shots, especially uppercuts, because you're going against gravity when you throw uppercuts, right? And he kept making him miss that. So that's the first thing he does, right? He's in position and he's good at setting kind of like not so much traps to land something on you, but make you believe that he's open to make you miss. And then that sets up openings for him. That's the first thing. The second thing he does is catches shots with the wrists, with the forearm, elbows, his gloves. Okay. He kind of does a variation of different parries. All right. And he catches a lot of shots from these guys. So even when he can make you miss one shot, and let's say you time a 1-2, knowing he's going to make you miss the first shot and you throw a second shot, he can catch that one. You know what I mean? And then that allows him to get back in position to make you miss other shots, right? And then there's a third thing he does, okay? Now, he does by the way, he does the things every other fighter does. Gets a nice high, he has a really strong guard that he'll use at times as well. All right. But just staying on this, the third thing he does is roll and ride with the shots. Okay. He'll anticipate the shot and then he'll roll with it. Okay. So instead of taking 100% blunt force, sometimes he don't take any of the effect because he completely moves his head out of the way. Sometimes, even though he does get hit, he'll take away anywhere from 25 to 75% of the blunt force of that shot because he rides and rolls with them. And he's one of the best at rolling and riding with shots. He's one of the best at catching shots, and he's one of the best at making you miss shots. Ladies and gentlemen, we just don't have boxers that do all those three things, especially not simultaneously in a fight. We just don't have that. Sometimes guys either have a nice strong guard or they roll shot. Like Sergio Martinez, he was really good at rolling with shots, and countering off of that, right? But he, he didn't have those constant firewalls. That is something Canelo has, and that's going to give everybody problems. How many times have you seen Canelo get hit with back-to-back punches, like a right and a cross and a hook or something like that? It rarely happens. Very rarely happens. Not to mention his versatility offensively, right? There really isn't a transition from offense to defense. He is fighting in one motion the whole fight. And offensively, what he does, like he'll extend his hand sometimes to the side of his waist, and you don't know if he's going to shoot to your body, and he has a really good body shot off of that. You don't know if he's going to come upstairs with a hook. Or he could vary it and just he could hit you with a nice uppercut up the middle with it. Like you have to guess what it is. He'll usually shoot it when you're in a defensive posture and not able to throw offensively. Another thing he does, right? Canelo is pressuring these guys from the beginning when the bell rings all the way to the end of the fight, right? One problem Canelo used to have, right? He would kind of have those middle rounds that he quote unquote took off to get his second win, and then he would finish the fight strong, right? What he's found now is like this, through his experience, training, whatever it is, right? He's found a way to pressure guys, and getting them on the back foot, right, and controlling the pace of the fight and increasing the level of pressure as the fight progresses. So these guys, they reach a point where they don't even know why they're getting backed up, right? And it keeps them on the back foot. Let me tell you this, and you can do this yourself, right? Get in a boxing stance. Whoever wants to do this with me right now, as I explain it, just so you can know what I mean, okay? Get in a boxing stance, okay? Get a nice, have your hands up, put pressure on your front foot, and shoot a jab, okay? You're gonna feel, all right, as your foot, hits the ground and you shoot the punch forward, okay, that helps generate power on your punch, right? Now, try throwing that same punch, but put weight on your back foot, right? You're really just throwing an arm punch because the power doesn't generate, like you don't feel the power generating up, right? From your foot, knee, thigh, your body up to your arm. Like you don't feel that. Okay, like it's not there when you shoot on your back foot. Well, Canelo constantly keeps these guys, right, since they're trying to avoid him getting on the inside, he gets them on the back foot. So even when they throw and hit him with something, right, even if it lands, even if they get through all the firewall that I just explained, it's not going to have as much of an impact on him, right? And since they're constantly on their back foot and they're not really controlling the distance, that's the thing. Like he doesn't allow them to control the distance, right? They may keep distance at time, but the one that's in control is him, right? So since he's the one dictating when he's at distance to shoot jabs and hooks and all that, you know what I mean? Which is ring generalship, by the way. That's why he's landing jabs on Caleb Smith. Oh, well, I can't believe he's a much shorter guy and he's landing jabs on Caleb Smith, right? That's because Caleb Smith was constantly on his back foot, constantly, feeling the pressure, and the pressure's only increasing, right? And he's busy throwing get off me punches at Canelo, right? Exerting a lot of energy, right? And Canelo's the one dictating, now that I got you on the back foot, I can easily step forward and shoot my shots, right? So that's what Canelo does so well right now, and he does it better than anybody in the sport. Anybody. Okay? What's going on, Retro Boxing? That's Blood Boxing. Says, I don't know why you guys listen to any critics of Canelo. That's way out of hand. Just unsubscribe from the channels that are doing it. They can't know boxing that they say is garbage. Well, I mean, I agree with that. But it is what it is. Now, let me also, and I just wanted to kind of add that his ability to put pressure, and it's real subtle, right? Now, if you remember, like, there's certain fighters that I've said, like Benavidez, he has like that mid-range pressure, but it's kind of constant throughout the fight. Canelo does something similar, only he kind of gives off like especially in the first few rounds, like these guys don't seem that worried about it. Caleb Smith didn't seem worried after round one, even round two. He was like, okay, if this is the pressure he's going to bring, I'm going to be good. But what I don't think they anticipated was the pressure constantly increasing. And the reason he doesn't just go right at it right off the bat, because it's a 12-round fight, right? So he's mastered how to utilize his energy, right, and sustain it throughout the entire fight. Energy is fight night. You will run out of it if you don't use it properly. Some fighters have more of it than others, but at the end of the day, you will run out of it if you don't use it properly. Canelo's found a way, right, to stabilize it and use it throughout the fight and slowly increase it and overwhelm his opponents mentally. It's something that he's developed, okay? Like I said, man, this guy, he's a student of the game. He's constantly learning. He's only getting better, and it's him getting better is not going to stop, right? The time for Caleb Plant to fight Canelo and have a shot to beat him already passed. He should have fought a Canelo that was stressed from the litigation and stressed from not getting an opponent, right? He should have done that, right? And you could have been the young, hungry lion, and just kind of, and he wouldn't have as many fights of experience at the weight class. You should have taken the opportunity. But now that Canelo is now getting experience in the higher weight class, right? Now that he's fought, a taller guy and he kind of is understanding the distance and all that, it's going to be tougher to beat now, right? The time to fight him was now, right? Like Callum Smith took the fight at the right time because he wasn't going to have any better shot as he moved forward, right? Well, that's it. I think Canelo looked great. All right. I think he did a good job, pressuring Callum Smith. I thought he would land more body shots, but Callum did a better job blocking those shots, changing, his guard, right? Having his gloves like around his waist, not waist, his chest, in front of his chest, allowed him to have those elbows down enough to block those body shots. You know what I mean? And then he could just lift the guard when Canelo would come upstairs. But it obviously just wasn't enough, right? At the end of the day. Well, so Speak Your Mind Sports Talk. How you doing, man? What's up, mi hermano? Absolute 92 AKU. How's it going? Christian NWO. How is it going? So, I just wanted to kind of break down a little bit like what I'm seeing from Canelo and how he is skilled and what he's doing in the ring. And some people can say, oh, but why doesn't he do it against this guy and that guy? Look, he's going to do it, right? So and he tried, right, with certain guys. He's already tried, guys. He's not retiring. He's not going anywhere right now. He's only 30 years old, right? But what I do want to leave with you guys with is this. Keep in mind, raise your hand if you believe Caleb Plant would have turned down $35 million to fight an old Oscar De La Hoya. Now, we know the Charo brothers called out Oscar De La Hoya to a fight. Okay, Gennady Golovkin is saying he gets in the ring with me, I'll kill him, and all this other stuff, right? You guys do know that the Zone had Oscar De La Hoya as a potential opponent for the Canelo, right? As a premium, quote-unquote, opponent. He could have fought Oscar De La Hoya and made 35. That would have been the easiest $35 million he's ever made. They had guys like Khabib, Jorge Masvidal, UFC fighters, right? They had UFC fighters listed as quote-unquote premium opponents for Canelo. Canelo could have said, oh, you want me to fight those guys in a boxing ring? Okay. And Canelo would have made $35 million to do it. There ain't another fighter on the planet that would have turned down $35 million to box UFC guys. Okay? To box Oscar De La Hoya. You're not going to find it. Canelo said no. Canelo took their asses to court because he wanted to fight, Billy Joe Saunders, Caleb Smith, the champions at 168 pounds. And the Zone was telling them, no, we want you to fight De La Hoya, UFC guys, or Triple G, right? He took him to court. He took his own promoter to court. And he won the fucking case. And he still worked with the Zone because he's a businessman, and that's where the fight was available right away. All right? There ain't another fighter on the planet that would have said no to those easy fucking paydays. There isn't a fighter. I don't give a fuck what name you give me. Canelo was like, nah, that's not who I want to fight. I want to fight the top boxers in the world. And are you going to tell me that Tony Harrison is blind and doesn't know what he's watching? Are you going to tell me that Errol Spence himself, calling him the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, doesn't know what he's talking about? Now, let it be known that Errol Spence went to Canelo's fight, showed up, and he wants to make a Canelo fight. That's what Errol Spence wants to do. Now he's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. Right? Shout out to Boxing Wave, man. I appreciate that, brother. It says all facts. Everybody says, if you're not subscribed to Boxing Wave, I don't even know what to tell you. Shout out to Boxing Wave. How could you guys not appreciate Canelo, man? I mean, to a certain degree. I'm not saying you got to be the biggest fan of the guy. I'm not even saying you can have a preference of who you like to see him fight and all that. That's not what I'm saying at all. But this is a guy that stood up for the sport of boxing and said, "Nah, man, I'm not gonna participate in these clown shows. I'm not gonna box UFC fighters. I don't care if you're giving me $35 million. All we hear now is, oh man, if they paid me money, shit, I get that bag, right?" Well, Canelo could have gotten some easy money, right? And he didn't do it. He took him to court because he wanted to fight better opposition. But please name me the fighter with a better resume. Please, I would love to hear it. Now, of course, I already said, by the way, Manny Pacquiao is a legend of the sport. You know what I mean? Manny's a legend. So like, and he's still technically active. But aside from him, so look, damned if he does, damned if he doesn't, right? If Canelo ignores Spence or says, no, I'm not interested, come on. Oh, he's scared of Spence. He wants no part of Spence, right? But when he says, you know, yeah, that'll be a big fight. I mean, I'm interested to do it. In fact, I'll even move down. Oh, wait. I'll even go back down to 160 to do it if he's interested, right? Instead of just taking that for face value, just what he's saying, then he becomes, oh, well, why can't he fight this guy or that guy? Why can't he fight Charlo at 160? Why can't he fight Andre at 160? Now, leaving aside the fact that Charlo was already offered to fight, leaving that aside, okay? Leaving aside the fact that Andre is already saying he's going to move up to 168 and fight Billy Joe Saunders. Leaving aside the fact that Reynoso already came out and said, yeah, we could do that Charlo fight, you know, if we could do it at 168. Charlo's a big middleweight anyway. He's bigger than Canelo, all right? Definitely taller. Nobody's saying those fights can be made as well. But you guys do realize Canelo cannot fight everybody like in a gauntlet. This isn't Dickstown. You know what I mean? You want him to show up and just fight everybody one night or what? Fighters today fight like twice or three times a year. Like you want him to fight, like you wanted to unify at 168, fight Andre, Charlo, and Spence all in 1 year? Like, well, what do you want from the guy? Right? He can't do it all. And in sports, it doesn't work that way anyway. What are these other guys doing in the meantime? I said this in my other video, and I'll say it again. Right? In order to get to the Super Bowl, you need to be like, you know, the wild card and then like the divisional round, and then you get to the AFC or NFC championship, then you get to the Super Bowl, right? NBA finals, right? In order to get to the finals, you know, you got to get through different rounds, right? To the conference, win your conference, and then you get to the NBA finals, right? And tennis, right? In order to get to the championship, you face some people, the other side faces some people, right? In order to win, you know, March Madness, you have to defeat different people, right? And then you get to the final. What are these other guys doing while Canelo's doing some other shit? What are they doing? They're getting passes for fighting fucking nobodies. Plant, he's gonna fight Truax, pass, right? Billy Joe Saunders, Murray, pass. Right? Murray, whatever. All right? Andre and Charlo, I don't see them unifying. Pass. Like everybody's just getting a pass after pass after pass. Benavidez, Plant, they've been talking about how they want to kill each other and and leave each other in the hospital. Haven't fought. They're both under PBC. They're getting a pass. So you're telling me right now, like, this would be the equivalent of, like, instead of doing the NBA championships the way you usually do them, right? Instead, like, if LeBron wants to be the champion, right, he needs to face all the good teams and beat all of them. Right? And they don't got to play anybody else. They just got to wait to play the Lakers. LeBron has to do it all. Just think about that for a second. Just imagine, like, in order for you to become the Super Bowl champ, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, like, they got to beat everybody. Like, nobody has to play anybody else, but they need to play everybody week after week after week until they beat everybody to prove that they're the best in the NFL, right? What are these other guys doing? Canelo can't do it all, right? If we have like 6 guys, right? There's no reason some of them can mix it up with each other, and eventually, as they, win fights, then they eventually meet up with Canelo in the end. There's no reason that can't happen. What are these other guys doing? You guys do realize, like that these guys aren't doing anything. The reason 140 is we're at the brink of having to unify it again is because these other guys were unifying with other guys. Like, that's how we got there so fast. Ramirez didn't just sit back and say, okay, I'm just going to chill and just let Taylor beat everybody. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he didn't do that. He's not like, I don't want to fight Hooker, I'm sorry. You fight Hooker. I'll wait right here. Well, that's not the way it works. What are these other guys doing? I need the same energy. Brandon Adams, Dennis Hogan. Yes. Canine Bundridge. But Canelo's the one fighting old man. Are you fucking shitting me right now? So that's all I got, man. But I want to thank you guys for listening. My laptop's about to die. Shout out to Blood, Joe Lopez, 40 ounce, King, Mulu, all you guys, man. And Mex and Mex, all you guys. This is DStyleBoxing. Keep it boxing. Ignorant Boxing. What's up? I'm out, guys. Peace.